Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, we're going to get back into a new decade, okay? So I already did the top 30 OAVAs, TV shows, and movies for the 1980s. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the 1990s, okay? So I'll start from 1990 and work all the way up to 1999 and go through each and all these significant titles from every single year and then build a big top 30 countdown. So again, this is going to take me a while. It took me almost 14 episodes to do it for 1980, and this one probably will be a lot longer because there's now the new generation. Like my generation, started in the 80s, and of course we had to suffer through a lot of things. Like no translations and very hard distribution, with the VHS tapes and all that stuff. But now in the 1990s, the anime companies started kicking in. So now there's basically a source that a lot of people can get certain types of animes and that kind of stuff. Big boom in the new OAVAs and animes and movies that sort of came out. So a lot more titles we can deal with. So, it's going to be a little bit harder than the 80s just because of the sheer volume. But again, we'll go through it all and it'll make this list of the top 30 titles for you. So I want to remind people to go down below, click like and click subscribe. And if you want to make a comment, that's all. These are all good things that you can do to help support the channel and, to make the YouTube algorithm work properly, all right? If you want to support me financially, I do have the PayPal and the Patreon links down below. For a limited time during this Christmas break, I am going to be basically doubling whatever you put in this year. So again, if you for every month that you want to put in, I'll add another month to that. Okay. So again, I'll just give you a good opportunity, my sort of Christmas present to give back to you people that actually were willing to support me. For those people who already are on the subscribers list, I've already added in the extra month for you already. So if you want to do that, you don't have to do anything on your part. Thank you again for your support. Again, I've got some new episodes with my dabbling in working with some AI, and of course I've also begun talking about my trip to China in more detail and more personal aspects of it, because I can't post that kind of stuff on YouTube here. Workings of the 1990s and what animes will end up on our top 30. All right. So without further delay, let's begin.
Okay, so let's begin with the summer session of 1990. So again, it's not too difficult. There's the beginning of this series. Generally speaking, not a lot of new TV shows going on at this particular time. So it's not one of the main seasons for new releases. And again, we've got three new releases here. None of them are really that significant. We have Robin Hood, which again, some people sort of kind of passed it around. Again, it was one of these type of things that kind of it's based on a the traditional story of Robin Hood of Nottingham Forest and all that kind of stuff. Just the same way how we had the Three Musketeers and a whole bunch of other various. Let's make an anime about a novel, so Anne of Green Gables, and etc. like that. But again, it's just a lot of people just didn't care about this. And just sort of fell by the wayside. Maybe I remember the odd person sort of had it, and I did remember seeing it, but for the most part, I think most people ignored it. I think more people were more interested in the animated version of Robin Hood from like Disney and maybe Rocket Robin Hood or something like that would be probably the more familiar titles in terms of the Robin Hood franchise. At least now, after multitudes of decades have passed. They've now licensed this because it was it had some popularity in other countries other than the United States. So I think that from that things like Crunchyroll and stuff has picked up the license on that one after the basically picking it up out of the garbage can and making it available. So it might be worth a watch if you're really into that kind of thing. The other notable title on this one is the second one, Kabuto. Now this was an interesting one because this one became popular and got translated as the manga because it's done by Buchisawa, which is the guy who does Space Cobra. Now I've always liked his artwork because again the whole concept with the sexy robot and that kind of stuff from Space Cobra and he does that nice sort of art style in there. So basically, this TV series is sort of like the adaptation of that manga. Now, the really interesting thing is, again, not too many people had the TV series. Maybe the odd person did. I think a lot more people had maybe like the OVA. And definitely, people did know about it because of the manga that came out. But I think at this particular time, it was a little bit too late, too little, too late, shall we say, right? Because at this time, anime mangas are really starting to be poured out by the streams. There's lots of them coming out. Things like Maison Akaku and the Ranmas, and Viz was just really pumping a lot of stuff out, and all these other companies were getting into the game, trying to get out lots and lots of different mangas. So a title like Kabuto kind of fell by the wayside, where other better titles like Crying Freeman and that kind of stuff sort of overshadowed it. So that's in terms of the manga artwork. The interesting about this TV series, as I was looking it up, is because I didn't really watch too much of this stuff. Because it was not, again, at this particular time, too many people were just sort of, a lot of other stuff was hitting the market, and this again fell by the wayside. But when I was looking it up, yes, the character design for this one is Satoshi Ushihara. Now, again, predominantly because of all the male characters. That's probably why it got pushed to lower to the scale, because of course although he does do lots of male characters and that kind of stuff, especially if you look at something like Langrisser, there's a lot of male characters in them. But everyone always focuses on the female characters for all this stuff, i.e., things like Plastic Little, Legend of Lenmar, and whatnot. So it is interesting to note that he makes this particular story, and the story itself is probably pretty good. Again, I haven't had a chance to watch it myself, and it's not licensed at this particular moment, but very Yatoden or Peacock King, that sort of story. It could very easily be another style of a demonic version of like Kenshin, or the Shin Megami Tensei type of thing going on, right? With feudal Japan kind of stuff going on, and with mixture with some modernness to it. So definitely something to check out if hopefully they get some sort of translation, or if someone decides maybe we should go back and fan sub this, or maybe someone will use some AI or something and deal with it. But definitely keep an eye on this one. Okay, so that basically takes care of all the new TV series. And again, this is a time where you don't want to release too much new stuff. And it makes sense, because when you look down this list of all the continuing TV shows, you have some of the biggest names that anyone would say from the past here would say would be like one of the top ones. So you have Dragon Ball Z, you have Ranma 1/2, you have Nadia, Secret of Blue Water, you have Patlabor TV series. I mean, a lot of people would say, in terms of the 80s, 90s, those would be like absolutely key shows that you couldn't miss in this time period. You can't go through this time period not seeing a new type or an Anime V or an Animedia or something like that doesn't contain at least some pictures of any of those major four titles, like period. So, you obviously don't want to be one of those TV studios deciding, hey, we're going to release a new TV show and we have to go against these guys, right? You're just not going to win against those guys, right? So, save all your good stuff and wait until all the, some of these shows end, and then, put them up afterwards. So again, that's why not new titles in there. Some other titles are just going on the list. I see Yawara, very popular. People that were trying to trade that one. Samurai Ninja Cats. Another one, Samurai Ninja Cats. I mean, that's one of those ones that they decide to bring over and warp and change. But definitely, obviously, somebody saw some potential into that particular one. Dragon Quest, for all you people who are really interested in RPG games, and of course same guy who does Dragon Ball. So I mean this is really tough competition to go against. And of course I'll even mention Energy Night in the Lamine 40, which I just finished doing an episode when I watched that one. And literally a precursor to Saber Marionette J. So these are really hot titles. Just to start off the 1990s here, And yeah, you don't want to be one of these other studios trying to fight against one of these guys, because again, you're just not going to win against these guys. So you know, not a lot of new stuff, and we'll see as 1991 and 92 come through, some of the series that maybe kind of held off and probably gain more sort of notoriety just because of the fact that they waited until some of these big shows like Ranma and Dragon Ball end so that they can put their show out, and they'll get better light. Okay, so we're starting with the OAVAs now, and then we have right off the bat the 80 Police. Again, more continuation of the very popular Bubblegum Crisis series. Of course, the same animation kind of style, so a lot of people really like that. Very popular. Also on this list here, we have the Project A-ko Versus. So again, based off the very, very popular Project A-ko series that made the up to 4 movies for that, they decided, okay, hey, well, we make an OVA series, change it up a little bit, and then now we have a new OVA series, which is a spin-off of the movie series. So we're getting some more. Basically some more mileage out of already pre-existing, bona fide hits from the 80s, Bubblegum Crisis and Project A-ko, and decided, hey, we're going to make some spin-off OVAs, and we're going to try to make some more money off of those. So again, those are the first two bits on there. The other one, of course, to mention is the one in the middle, which is Shin, Captain Tsubasa. Again, I've always mentioned it in the past. Even though soccer is really popular in most places in the world, other than North America, just very, very, just little, excitement about that kind of anime, especially sports animes and that kind of stuff at this particular time. So, relatively insignificant. Okay, continuing along, we have a series called 19. Now, again, this is kind of really somewhat popular because I said, just like the other videos like Cypher and whatnot, and B-Boy and things like this, it portrays sort of like a one-shot thing, which is just sort of, let's take some sort of, common romance kind of story thing, and then we get to throw a whole bunch of these, essentially, Japanese, city pops kind of style songs, and just throw them in the background and make it like a music video kind of ish type of thing, and it really just doesn't go anywhere. Again, a lot of people didn't even had it sort of around. Nobody even bothers translating these things because, as I said, most of it's just music video anyway, and. I think you probably get a lot more if you actually, read the manga and that kind of stuff for this, and that was just pretty much, what's the point of this except, a big, huge, like 30-minute ad for the manga. Essentially, that's what it is, with some music. And sometimes the music was good, sometimes not. I think I did like some of the stuff from like Cypher and B-Boy was actually had some good stuff in it as well. But 19 is just another one of these ones that they just kind of we'll just, it sort of worked, so we'll just make another one. Let's say we have the next installment of the SD Gundam stuff, Mark IV. So again, more fun antics with the super deformed Gundam series from the first series of Mosul Gundam. So more funny little bits and that kind of stuff as well. The interesting one that comes is the new Ixir 3. So here we have basically the SD guys version of getting Ixir 1. So again, a very popular franchise from the 80s, Ixir 1, getting a remake over in kind of weird kid-style, cutie, SD form, thing. So, to me, this just doesn't work, because as I said, when I'm thinking Ixir 1, I like that, Hirano sort of, glossy-eyed sort of, look to it. Again, the fight sequences and that kind of stuff was not about cutesiness, and whatnot, so... I just think it was attracting the wrong type of audience and kind of stuff. I mean, if they made it so it was like a sequel, and she had to fight a new version of the Ixir, if they made it in the same style as the first Ixir one, I think it probably would have done really, really, really well. But instead, they made this sort of thing, and it's kind of tripey, if you ask me. But because it was using the Ixir name, it got some popularity. I don't know if definitely people had followed it, made the same way, or had the same sort of interest in it if it wasn't done a different way. But this is how they made it, and if you if you like that kind of transition, go for it. If not, you know what happened, right? Okay, so moving along here, we have some more loser shows here. We have Ricky O 2. So apparently the first Ricky O was wasn't a bad ripoff of Rambo enough. They decided, hey, let's make another one. So again, to add to the horribleness that is things like Dog Soldier and Ricky O. Now we're gonna make another Ricky O. So the second one. Definitely, not any better, and just if you thought the first one was pretty, bad, then well, they decided, well, we're gonna continue making more bad ones. Okay, so here you go, more of the Rambo knockoffs here. The continuing along here, we also have the Transformer Zone. Now this one was rather interesting because I do follow a lot of Transformers kind of things, but this is one of those series that obviously again slight variation of the Cybertron story. But apparently the marketing and I guess the funding and all that kind of stuff went pretty bad, and they only ever released the one OVA for this. Now I vaguely remember this. I didn't actually even have a copy of this myself because there's so much other better stuff to get at this particular time, and they were planning to make this a Transformer show, but again, it's just the financing and that kind of stuff all fell through, and this is the situation where without the funding they just cut the series off, and I'm sure with a lot of the modern animes that are happening, this is a very common thing where they'll only release or start releasing something and they realize, hey, we're not getting the sales, we're not getting the numbers or whatever, then we're just gonna go cut it off. Whatever the story. It doesn't matter if it's it's in the middle of the story arc or you haven't even began introducing all the main characters or whatever. Nope, we're gonna cut you off. And so this one is a situation where, yeah, you get 30 minutes of basically Transformers, or the building of a Transformer story, and it'll never be completed. Okay, continuing along, we have the Fuma no Kajoru. Now, this one was, kind of popular. I mean, people did have it around because it's only a 6-way set. Again, it looks really cool because it's the Saint Seiya kind of like, guy doing all that kind of thing. But it's just doing basically a high school rival thing, which is, I guess they did that like thing for, Sakigoro Tojuko. And that was really kind of cool when they made a series of that. But now they're just making a very short OVA set for that. It's just done by the Saint Seiya guy. So it looked kind of cool. Again, I think later in the 90s, some other fan groups did do a fan sub of this particular show, and it had limited distribution at that particular time. But it was one of these subtitles that people had on the back burner. But again, without a lot of push for interest and that kind of stuff, this one again almost was forgotten. There was just enough people that had interest in this one to bring it back alive at in the later tags of the 90s to bring this one in there. And again, Saint Seiya following would you could see the relationship in that. But other than that, yes, it probably would have been better drawn out if it was something like Otojuko, which is without all the humor. The other significant one on this list of course, is Kaoru Mao. Again, nobody really bothered translating this show, but again, not one of these sort of sisters that are like exorcists, so they so they do the ghosts and go and whatnot and possession type of stuff, kind of thing like that. So it had elements of the Vampire Princess Mew type of thing going on. But the problem is that without adequate translation, a lot of people just didn't understand what was going on. And then, of course, as later time goes on, when they start making offshoots and that kind of stuff, they end up basically, if you want to make this into a hentai, it really is essentially La Blue Girl. Basically, sisters, doing things with the demons and what kind of stuff. Just add the hentai element to it, and then there you go. That's what you got. So this is sort of the non-hentai version of that, which of course some people would say that wouldn't make it very popular, and of course without translation, that's basically going to kill your audience. So again, in terms of significance, it did have some people that were passing it around, but again, without any subtitles and whatnot, it would just get lost in the in the forgotten titles. And we continue moving on here. The next note of sort of importance is Lemon Angel. So again, more of this. They initially had it as a sort of really late night, sort of soft hentai type of title. and now so they've got kind of got more of it now. So I'm trying to make it extend a little bit longer. The more popular series, which that everyone was sort of more chasing after, was Cream Lemon. Not to be confused with the full-fledged hentai title. A lot of things just sort of never happened with this style, so that's just other than just being like one of those sort of styles that just sort of falls away on the wayside. Kind of familiar, but again, no one knows what it is. Alright, so we continue on with the rest of the OVAs, and nothing there. Grand Sword, no one really knows what that is anyway. Carry over from the 80s. And, okay, that's it. So let's begin with the movies. So right away, blockbuster lineup for movies. We have Dragon Ball Z, the third movie, which is, the Tree of Might. Again, operating off of the popularity of the TV series. They're releasing a whole bunch of movies. Again, very, very popular franchise. Surefire hit there. And then I guess the next two are City Hunter special OVAs. Now again, City Hunter, just finished in the late 80s there. Hugely popular, made obviously the 3 TV series off of it, and then they decided, okay, well, we still need to probably make another one. So City Hunter 91 is going to be coming out soon. So definitely the storytelling and that kind of stuff in here, all the manga and the character designers and that kind of stuff, just really just pumping out lots of material. So again, 2 more OVAs, the Bay City Wars and the $1 Million Conspiracy. Again, similar to, flavor like most of the series episodes. But again, I just really love this series, and I'm really happy that we did some of the subtitles for them, and some of the funniest episodes, definitely are some of the ones that we did. And I'm just finally glad that A Division finally got it, and did the subtitles for all the series, so that now I can actually watch all those episodes that we did actually finish. That I really wanted to know what was going on, because Theater was one of those first titles that I really kind of got into anime with, and the plot's simple enough to understand that you could probably get away with most episodes, but for sure there are a couple ones that are really good, that needed a little bit of help, and I'm glad that again the series had been licensed by ADV. So again, if you really like to check out that kind of a series, it's really nice. I do recommend this one. Okay, so continuing along here, there's nothing really too significant on the next row except for Utsuno Miko. Again, some people do have this one, and again, later in the mid 90s, some fan subbing groups started getting onto the Utsuno Miko, OAVA series and that kind of stuff. So again, this is the movie edition of that. Popular sort of artwork. Again, this entire Fantastic Heaven sort of thing. Kind of reminiscent of how Inuyasha was kind of done, but definitely people did have a liking towards this style of anime and that kind of stuff. So again, later on it gained popularity, but it was sort of just distributed around, and the name was familiar enough. Anyway, so that basically finishes off the rest of the OAVAs. Then we have a couple of special TV broadcast episodes here. Okay, so the first one we have on the list is the Lupin III, the Hemingway Papers. Okay, so again, things like Bye Bye Liberty and whatnot. There's another one of these special TV made Lupin episodes. Now again, this is now happening in the 90s now. So again, a lot of the early Lupin animes, like things like Bye Bye Liberty and the Fujiko Conspiracy and things like that, we're still being fans of and still kind of coming out, right? So a lot of people were still catching up to the phenomenon that was Lupin. So by the time they got to things like Hemingway and that kind of stuff, a lot of people sort of forgot about this OEVA and kind of it was sort of there. I did remember, various people trying to distribute, Japanese copies of this, but most of the translations were always for things like Golden Babylon and the Fuma Conspiracy and things like that. The bigger, longer titles that they were always doing. So that's why this one never really got the recognition that it sort of deserved. So it kind of fell around on the wayside. But, they got it now, so that you can go and check that one out. The next one is the Yamato pilot film. Now, again, this one, we already know that the Yamato movies and that kind of stuff are all out there. And so this is just someone sort of a short snippet clip thing. It was very, very short, like 9-10 minutes. So it's really really more or less non-existent anyway. But they decided to stuff it out there, just sort of for as promo stuff. Maybe to hopefully maybe make another Yamato series. Maybe we'll see. And then continue on there, we have the Gundam's SD Gundam Mark IV special. So again, this is another really, really short thing for just sort of playing with the SD Gundam things again. Again, there's a full OEVA that came out, so this is just sort of another trail for that. And the last one, of course, is King Granzord, which is again a little sort of a half an hour sort of little addition thing to the whole series of Granzord, which came out, of course, in the late '80s there. And so this is just sort of another 30 more minutes of that.
All right, hope you found that really interesting. And again, we'll help you getting into more episodes as we go through the whole entire decade of the 1990s. All right, so until next time, I will see you again.